Making of a sort of jacked up Irish trinket. This is a story of how I learned the concept of computational thinking. The project had to be interactive, creative, complex, neat and tidy, functional, and with concise coding. I put a lot of thought into what I wanted out of this project and came up with personal goals. I started with searching for ideas online. The Arduino, Pinterest, SparkFun website, Adafruit site were all great sources, but much of it seemed silly or over my head. So I settled on two criterion for this project, that if it was going to be trite, at least it had to be useful. Some ideas I floated included a light-up hoodie, a pin that lit up with a zipper switch, but these seemed pretty useless. Halloween yielded an idea for me. It's totally okay to be trite on Halloween, and I could actually use this creation. This student startled me, and my colleague, who suggested it would be better if she push a button and have her voice seem as another voice to say something, to add to the creepiness of the costume. Alas, this just seemed like it would be way over my head. Or heads, but bump. Alicia in C20 told us about the Maker Faire at Barnes & Noble that happened in November. So my daughter and I went. This young man was so kind and helpful. He showed us some circuitry basics, and then this young lady showed us how it's done. After that, I started to think I could make something for my husband John. He's all too fond of what I deem to be trinkets. He got his appreciation from his mom, who loved to save little things, or as she would say, "Ah, it's just some little thing." We have all sorts of little things, like this Celtic knot, and this music box, and this boot. Niagara Falls is a theme, you may be guessing by now. This might perfectly sum up the joy of my husband's trinket hobby. He sells Irish goods online and in outside vending places like Christmas Village at Love Park in Philly, so I wanted to make him something he could have a little fun with, and that would celebrate his Irish bent. This is Ireland with the Irish flag colors. After a trip to Michael's, I had a vague idea of what I wanted. It would include County Donegal, where John's family hails from. It's a special place locked in history by its precarious location, so close to Northern Ireland. If you know your history, it's been tense between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland for about 100 years since it was partitioned. This is Derry, the site of Bloody Sunday in 1972, where 26 unarmed civilians were shot by British soldiers. It's so close to Donegal. It's part of what keeps Donegal's location cut off. Only a few miles of this county is physically connected by land to the rest of the Republic. Parenthetically, this is where Rory McIlroy is from. John's cousin posted this on Facebook. It was titled 19 of the Most Donegal Things That Ever Happened. This is Losset, or Murraytown, where John's family comes from. And this is Losset. I wanted to make something for John to celebrate his love of Donegal. I thought I'd use the colors from the Donegal flag, along with the colors of the Irish flag, and somehow delineate where Donegal is. I asked my former student, Chris Kazuba, to help me understand LilyPad. Chris is a recent graduate looking for a job in cybersecurity. He's subbing now and applying to jobs and grad schools. Chris had never encountered LilyPad, but in no time he was able to give me some basic explanations that would likely not have made sense if my interest level had not already been high due to this project. Chris stopped by at least 6 times over the past 3 months, and each time he gave me hope. He explained basic computer science to me on the board and showed me how the 0-1 messages work using this diagram. Then we examined the LilyPad together, and he showed me what its components were. He also researched for me and gave me a number of helpful sources, including this cheat sheet that shows the syntax for Arduino language. He helped me map out what I wanted. I ended up nixing the songs for mental health reasons. I mapped out the stitching. Here's Chris again, helping me figure out the coding. He said in his computer science classes, they had to write a comment for each code to serve as a place marker in case something went wrong. He explained the letters and numbers on the lily pad. They're in the hexadecimal system, which is based off of the binary systems computers use. So instead of 13, based on our 10-digit system, A4 would become 13. I was ready to sew the LED to the lily pad board. I mapped out where to sew the conductive thread so as not to short a circuit. The proudest, most shock-filled moment of this project This may not look like much, but for me, it's a huge accomplishment.